Hey everyone, Matt Jobin with Ridgeline Summit, and in this video I'm going to share with you an exciting new product for 2018, a hammock by REI called the Flash Air Hammock, and I'm going to go over the complete setup with you, show you all the features, and we'll also go over some of the advantages and disadvantages of the product. So let's get started. So before I start, this is where we are going to be setting up the hammock. And one of the benefits of hammocking is don't have to worry about rocks like that or finding even ground. You can still set up pretty much anywhere you want and get a very comfortable night's sleep. So here's the complete packaged product, the REI Co-op Flash Air Hammock System. You get everything that you need in here for 3-season conditions. If you are bringing it out in the winter time like I am now, you can always add an under quilt to it and a top quilt, or just double up with your pads. But the product here is all packaged up and ready to go for 3-season. And the total weight of this whole entire setup is 2 pounds and 13 ounces. If you ditch the stuff sacks, it's 2 pounds 12 ounces. You can also change out some of the guy line on this. You can change out the stakes. You can modify, some parts of this hammock if you wanted to. The total price for this whole entire hammock setup is $200, which is a bargain. It's very reasonable for the lightweight that you are achieving with this hammock. And there are lighter hammocks out there, there are heavier hammock systems out there, but for the price point and the weight and everything that you're getting, this is a really good deal. So let me pull everything out and I'll show you what you get included in this setup. So in this hammock system, you get 2 straps with tree saver straps. These are 1 inch thick. You get a spacer bar, which will lift the bug net up, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Rain fly, the hammock body itself, and then inside you also get some stakes. So you get these really nice lightweight DAC aluminum stakes. And these are very similar to what you would get with the REI quarter dome tent that I have featured in another video. You get 4 of them for the rainfly. So let's go through the setup. So this is a very easy setup. You don't need to worry about tying any knots. These tree saver straps are pretty short, as you can see, so small to medium trees are great for it. If you're looking to use it around larger trees like you'd have out, say, California, you probably will want to go with a larger type of other tree saver strap to be able to get that around a wider tree. So the recommended height for this is 6 feet. I'm 5'11". And there's a loop at the very end here. And all you do is you pull this strap through. And I like to pull down on it just to make sure that it's locked in. Then your hammock connects to this end. I'll show you the other side up close. Alright, so we've got our gnarly tree here. And what we are going to do is wrap this around. Here's that loop up close. About 6 feet high. So you take this end and you put it through this end. Just like this. Grab this line, pull it through, and then like I said, I like to secure that, pull down on it just to lock it in place, and your hammock clips to this end. So it just uses a really nice lightweight C-clamp on the end of this and the end of the hammock, and then they use what they call a Dacron anchor line. So it's very similar to those Chinese finger traps, whoopee sling, and you pull this down, and when you pull on it, it puts tension on it and locks it into place, and when you pull it the other way, it releases it and it's able to slide and adjust, and I'll show you that after we attach the hammock. So the fabric is very durable, very comfortable feeling in the hand. It looks very similar to what they use in a lot of packs, and it's a very durable ripstop nylon. I'm not sure of the denier that they are using. I'd say it's probably around a 30, so about 1.6 ounces. It's going to be very durable. It has a 250-pound weight limit, and there's no mention of the exact type of nylon that they're using on any online websites or forums, but it almost reminds me of a very heavy-duty tablecloth, if you will, that can tolerate a lot of abuse. It has that feel to it. So let's set this up. So here's the C-clamp on the end of the hammock. There you go. That is secure. So it might not look secure, but you notice this. You notice the angle that's on these clamps. The only way to get those on and off is to have both of those angles matching so you can slide it on and off. So it's very secure. So again, slanted ends, slides right in. Alright, so to put tension on it, all you have to do is pull this. So as I pull this hammock's going to come this way toward me. Now when you're setting this hammock up, you want your trees to be at least 15 feet apart. Any closer, you're going to have some trouble with keeping this suspended and not hitting the ground. So for a comfortable in and out and a comfortable night's sleep, you want it to be around 15 feet between the two trees that you're setting it up. And the straps, as I mentioned, you want those to be about 6 feet above the ground. So this was the toggle that I pulled. This keeps everything in place, and this locks it in. And then to release it, you just pull this. So, a few days ago when I was shooting the hammock video, I realized that I forgot to show everyone this release. So I'm up here hammocking for the night on the Long Trail in Vermont, and I just thought that before I finished setting everything up, I would show you this right here, releasing the hammock and lowering it. So as I showed earlier when I originally filmed the hammock video, pulling this is going to allow you to put tension on the hammock and make it super stiff. If I pull on this tab, you can see the slide and the hammock will lower. We have our bug net here. If you're laying inside of this hammock, obviously you don't want this draping over your face. So what's really nice is you get this pole, which is shock corded together. So you just piece everything together. Very similar to what you might get in some more heavy-duty bivvies. Very nice design. And you slide the slightly rounded end of this up through the sleeve externally. Just like that. And then you have a grommet at the end here, and you just pop the end of that pole into the grommet. Just like that. And there's a buckle on here. You can put some tension on it if you really want to pull it away. And down at the bottom here, you have a gear sling, which is removable with these toggles. But this would be great for your footwear, moderately sized items that you want to put inside of here. This is a really nice addition. You can remove this, as I said, if you don't want to use it at all. It's also difficult to get at your gear inside of this gear sling if you are using an underquilt. But if you are not, you can use this and store items. So you also have loops on here. For securing an underquilt, if you wanted to. And this whole area is reinforced. So for a gathered end hammock, this measures in at about 9.5 feet. So if you are very tall, this might not be a good option for you. I am 5'11", and I'll show you in just a few minutes how I rest inside of it. So here's the inside of the hammock. We've got some pad straps here that are also detachable. 2 of them to help keep your sleeping pad in place, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. Then up here, you've got some gear pockets, which are excellent. The smaller one is a little difficult to get things into, but you've got some really well-designed pockets in here. You can put your headlamp in there, maybe a hat, anything that you'd like, but these 2 pockets are great, and this larger one is good too, so you can put some gear in there if you wanted to. And then there's another smaller one down here. This hammock does not have your typical Ridgeline system that you have with bug nets and other hammocks. What they chose to use for this hammock instead was just some extra stitching through here and some nylon webbing. Very small. And that's okay, because once you zip this up, there's also a buckle here that will attach to that, and that keeps this from draping down over the rest of you. And there are some loops in here if you wanted to attach something also. If it's a non-buggy night, you can just roll this up and tuck it away right in this pocket here. It is a really nice design that I can appreciate. This I can keep up above my head, lay down in here comfortably, and if the bug pressure starts to grow while I'm laying down and sleeping in this at night, all I have to do is sit up in the hammock, pull this out, and zip it shut. I really appreciate the thought that went into that. Alright, so the pad that I have for this video with the hammock is the Thermarest Pro Light Plus, because I am going to be using this in the winter. I end up using this pad, and then over here I also have my Ridgerest closed cell foam pad, which is going to go on top. So here's the hammock with the Pro Light Plus in there. This is the regular length Thermarest Pro Light Plus self-inflated pad. So you can see this is really nice and secure. We've got a little bit of grip on the side here, some silicone to help grab onto the pad and keep it from sliding around. And then, as I said, you can detach these if you wanted to. So just pop that off, slide that through, just like that. And you can remove these straps if you choose to not want to use them. Then on top of that, since I'm out in the winter time, I'll use the Thermarest Ridgerest pad. I also have the Thermarest NeoAir X Therm. I haven't used that in this hammock yet, so I'm not sure how comfortable it would be or how well it would hold up to this particular setup. But the Pro Light is great. You can soften it a little bit if you wanted to form your body, but I find by having it inflated completely gives me a good barrier from the cold drafts, and then having this on top gives me more draft protection. There it is with sleeping bag in there and the doubled up pads. The gear sling, as I mentioned, is great, so I can put my items that I may want to access right at the bottom. So I have my micro spikes here, and it's easy access from the top of the hammock to reach underneath there. In those gear pockets, like I said, you can put your headlamp in there, but I'll typically put it in one of these top pockets, just like that, and put a little more tension on this. So that'll sit like that behind when I have everything zipped up. Alright, I'm going to show you getting in and out of the hammock and how much room I have with my height, and then we will set up the rainfly. So, got the bug net up, all zipped up. As you can see, I'm able to sit up comfortably inside of this hammock. I can read if I wanted to at night. I don't have to worry about bugs bothering me, which is great in warmer conditions. Got my head right near the buckle here. So at 5'11", still have all of this room behind my head. Room for all of my gear. I can access things if I wanted to. And my feet are right here compared to the end of the hammock. So, very comfortable. I'm laying down flat on my back. I can move around on my side. If you're a side sleeper. And I still have room to do that. This is very well structured. I really appreciate having a little bit of livability space inside of this. If I need to access anything, I've got my micro spikes right here. It's very easy to get at things inside of this gear sling. And because this opens almost completely all the way around, I can access things from either side and not have any trouble at all. Like I said, I can tuck this up and put it away inside of the hammock if I wanted to. Alright, I'll show you getting into the hammock up close. Here's the inside. There's that ridgeline. And as I mentioned, you got this buckle right up here. So we just buckle that shut. And my headroom. I can move around and not have to worry about anything. This is very stable. Side sleep. So now we'll set up the rainfly. So the fabric with this is 15 denier ripstop nylon. And it's very similar to what you would get with the REI quarter dome tent that I had showed you, with line locks for tension and the 4 stakes that I showed you. So let's set this up now. So this hammock uses kind of your standard A-frame style, very similar to the Eno ProFly system, but this tarp in particular is going to be around 14.8 ounces on its own. The ProFly system for the standard is going to be around 21 or 22 ounces, I believe. The hammock is actually the heaviest part of this whole entire system, weighing around 17.5 ounces. But for that durable fabric, I'll take it. Now, because there's no ridgeline system for this hammock, you actually just tie off this end and the other end to the tree. And when you tie these off, you want it to actually be up above your tree saver strap line here. The higher you go, the more shade you have and more ventilation. The lower you go with the tarp, the more storm and wind protection you will have. Rain protection also. So remember earlier in the video I said no knots that are needed at all? Here you go. Here's a great example of that. So at the end of this line, we have another hook. And what we'll do is we will wrap this around the tree multiple times. And then the very end of this cordage with this hook, it hooks right into this loop, right where your line lock is, and then you pull it down tight and to add tension to it. This is a really, really well thought out design. So with this specific hammock, you don't have to worry about tying any hitches or overhand knots or anything when you are securing your tarp to the tree. So I'll show you the setup now. Hook hooked into that line right there, that loop, and then all you do is you pull on this, and this puts tension on the tarp, and to loosen it you just lift up on this line lock right here. Alright, so here's the full setup and the stakes with the line lock and tension on the rain fly. As you can see, it's pretty solid for not having a ridge line that it's resting on. It's just these right here and this. And here's the porch mode. You can set it up as also, if you wanted to, with your trekking poles. I just have the Velcro that's right around the corner of the tarp secured near the tip of my trekking pole, and still staked out to the ground, and then tension on this. A nice little feature if you are out and you want to enjoy the view a little bit, and you just need wind protection on one side and you still want to take in your surroundings that you're hanging in, you can do it with that. The poles that I use are 125 centimeters long. If you have taller poles, then you should be able to raise this up a bit higher, or if you are on higher ground with the poles, then that should raise it a little bit more as well. But still a really nice feature to have. So the length of the hammock again is 9.5 feet by 4.5 feet wide. I'm 5'11". You saw how much room I had inside of the hammock and how comfortable I was. If you are taller, then you might want to consider a different option. Maybe the REI quarter dome air hammock, which is about a pound heavier, or you can always go with a war bonnet system or Clark Outdoors, something that has more length to it, 10.5, 11 feet in length. But with my frame, I feel very comfortable inside of this, and I'm looking forward to using it a lot more. This is a great system, a really good price point, a reasonable weight, and I really appreciate all of the thought that went into designing this hammock system. So there you have it, the REI Flash Air Hammock System. This is a great piece of gear if you are looking to change your camping and elevating it rather than sleeping on solid ground. You can hammock any time of year that you want and in various conditions. Hammocking would also be a great option if you are looking to through hike the AT. There's plenty of spots to set up during your hike, especially up here in the Northeast. If you have any questions on this hammock, feel free to leave them in a comment below, or you can also get in touch with me at reachyoursummit.net. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support, and thanks for all of your comments. I greatly appreciate them. I'll see you in the next video.